do we do? Still one off from a breach ultimate.
Right
Nothing
there.
else really to play with. But you know they want to get aggro.
They could be hungry for this one too. Oh, not pretty for Smoggy there. That's rough. Forced away. Now the site starts to constrict. Starts to feel smaller. Starts to feel uncomfortable. Valen not clean himself, but more HP. Job done. Simon and Chichu. We say when Chichu stands, it always feels like there's a chance, but this is a lot to ask for. It might be. Oh my God! It is still Chichu. Hold on. There's a man diving behind. He had no idea about it. Jorgamo bounding through the map. And G2 with another EDG. Without a response.
EDG have to figure out something here because it's starting to slip away. From 4 to 4, G2 going on a run here, up to 7. And yes, it comes off the back of 2 half buys from EDG, but it's the manner in which it's happening, their game plan being deconstructed, that is the most concerning. EDG have not been able to find an answer to these early fights. They've started shying away from them, but even then, G2 are having so much more success in the post plants.
This feels deranged. We're going back to A again. Again and again we go. Operator there for Leaf, he's fine now. He can just sit there on the angle if he fancies it, but here comes the fight. We've seen it before, and it looks like we'll see it again. This time, Kong gonna be the difference maker. But it ain't over yet. Trent's still here. Slows down the roll, backs away. The first time this fight has gone EDG's way.
This post plant is going to be a bloodbath. Simon has the rolling thunder. There's ults on Jaw and Trent, and G2 are moving quickly.
Yeah, they want to get back in. Jaw fancies it. He wants to have a little bit of a biff on this one. EDG, he's seen everything. Calls for it, forces them forward. Leaf with a 1-2 punch. Trying to find more punish. It's Trent down to the 2v2, but nobody and Smoggy finally bring EDG around.
EDG are right back in it.
Oof.
Just an explosive round between these two teams, toe and toe throughout this opening half. It's a different feeling in the air, but this series is already shining up to be a good one.
Had it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Creo que estoy haciendo...
So far at this tournament, G2 and EDG have played 7 pistol rounds versus each other. Currently, EDG have won all 7. They're coming into the second half trailing, but for G2 to come home and take this series seriously, they've got to be able to show up in these early rounds.
Spot on. And that scoreline could rattle a lesser team. But as you said, EDG have the strength of the pistol round. That's something that sat with them well throughout this matchup and this specific head-to-head. It could be enough to close the scoreline up. But can they stick true to the stats?
That's the ultimate question here on the opener. And honestly, I think I might get a little bit more of a respite. Hold on, Smoggy's dodged away from some of this utility down to 5.
Lucky boys. I don't think they know the damage they've done, but still, damage done.
It's crazy that Kong's just been left completely alone, but Simon has Fault Line to support him on this fight.
He's gonna need help. Someone help him. Kong is so alone.
What?
It felt disjointed, maybe a misread here. EDG looking a little bit behind the curve, and look at where Leaf's gone to. Simon trying to be subtle with it, but there's nothing subtle about it. Easy light work for Valen. This looks, for the first time in a while, like EDG are completely behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to win a pistol round. Just 2 free kills to start things off. My eyes are on Smoggy on the flank, but again, he's on 5 HP, so unless he's shooting Jaw in the back of the head, and look at those nades! What?
No way! That is a absolute tilter of a way to end it. And Smoggy was the one who was just left battered and bruised from the start. And we were singing the praises of EDG. I have never seen them look so out of sorts there.
Yeah, that was wild. I want to see exactly what happened. My guess is that the wall came down at the same time as the double Tejo nade came in, and EDG were just completely caught off guards. Boom. Oh, there was a stun. A nasty little stun.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm not actually sure if they even needed to use the stun on the exec. G2 might have been holding that the entire time, or just getting it off the refresh.
G2 look like a different beast, don't they? This worries me, because again, 7 out of 7 were EDGs. That was something that was such a big backbone to their games. Always get that nice buffer at the beginning. Now, you're going to have to work it out without that. And a big start here for G2, up to 8 early. Jaw having a good little series 2 for him here. A little confidence builder after what's been, I don't want to say a bad performance, but we know his highs. Very hard to have that against a team like EDG.
Exactly.
Time to jump.
G2 going for true FPX buy here, 3 rifles, so options to upgrade into round 15. Start to snowball this half away, potentially. Looking at ultimates, they haven't done a stellar job so far of scaling those up, although Trent on 3 right now. If they slow play this round, play for the orbs, the plant, he could certainly get close.
Real nice end stuff, but look where the spike's heading. Thank you, observers, you absolute beauties.
So G2 and EDG are very different teams. EDG on their attacking side fought A at 1 minute 40 seconds,
Yes.
I think every single round, or just about.
Give or take.
G2 play a lot slower, moving over to the C site, but EDG have done their homework. They've got a flank going, yeah, that gets shut down, but the rotates are in, and G2 only have 30 seconds to play with. They're pivoting away from C.
I do get nervous when I see these rounds go this late. There is that one sheriff with Kung Kung, so that's basically where my mind goes towards. And oh my god, forgive me, Simon. I didn't think your plastic could do that sort of thing, but apparently it can. 18 seconds now. Getting a little closer. Jonah P on the case. Trying to secure this smoke, because you know the temptation would be to try and work through it. Chichu has a go at it, doesn't work out. Kung Kung down a little low here. And all those opportunities fading. G2, very... the composure is impressive. Again, they were discussing that they were going to come in with a different pace, right? Change the pace up a little bit, play a little bit slower almost, be a little bit more methodical about it. And so far, it's holding true. I get nervous when you get down to like 25, but still.
Sure, yeah, you know, we can get on the edge of our seats just a little bit, but Valen thought that by sort of going for all these early active plays, rushing in the calls, it sort of let EDG play the game style that they wanted to. So I think this half is going to be a lot more G2 true style, slowing the rounds down, leaving embeds over towards stairs into mound. And EDG, without a sentinel of their own, are going to have to do good work to re-clear space and find nice openers like that. You can't complain there.
No, you take those when you get them. Okay, let's have a look at the rest of the map. EDG having a walk, having a wander, stretching the legs.
Get the blood flowing.
That's the one. That feels smaller, but you're starting to feel a little bit nervous if you are Chichu. And then again, it is Chichu. Maybe I'm talking absolute nonsense, because this man's been an absolute monster. Not now. Trent bullies him, takes the site. G2 have control on this now.
And they have the read as well, going up the zip line. I think they realize EDG, they would have hurt them already had they been coming to fast retake, but instead, that flank, the drone, doesn't actually see any players. EDG might be able to creep up on Jaw.
Jaw's ready for it though. He's looking towards his smoke. He's got a good idea, but Smoggy succeeded. Takes away Valen, and now they can start getting that stranglehold going. Jaw falls. It's down to Trent and Jonah P, and they're looking in trouble here. A really hard post plant, but already that's a trade, but it's not quite good enough. No more to be done. EDG proactive on the play back in, taking that walk through B, and will get themselves on the board now.
I wouldn't be surprised to see EDG go for more looks like that, right? If you're worried about G2 leaving inserts and late lurks on you non-stop, just push out the flanks, no problem.
Goddamn.
That was probably the best time you could possibly find. Nice shot there too from Smoggy. As he was the sole presence coming in through his own spawn. If he falls, it's much easier for G2 to turn around and focus on those flankers. It was really the turning point in that round for EDG.
Okay, so bonus round has been navigated. EDG, get what you'd kind of expect, right? If it's a traditional game. This feels nothing like a traditional game, but we're looking at Trent, already there. Big progress for him. Jaw, 2 away. On the other side, nothing mega close yet. Maybe Smoggies is on the horizon. But it's certainly not there right now.
It's a pretty low commitment default from EDG. You've got nobody throwing a haunt from B site that lands over towards rubble. You've got Kong Kong sort of eyeing up that space in a one-way towards C, but they're not giving G2 a lot to move on. G2 are going to have to clear out this space, realize Baby Door isn't broken, and speed up into B site.
Yeah, they fancy it now. The temptation beckoning and snaring the senses, making that B side look almost tantalizing. Plants in there. You can see the Prowler from deep. They're very paranoid for EDG that someone could be lurking towards that A side.
This fight here is everything. Jonah P gets in the corner.
Oh my god, the Professor! Absolutely teaching him a lesson. Takes down 2, but a good trade. Now, Chichu, nobody and Smoggy have a long way back in here, though. Valen gonna be caught in the decay. Nobody now takes the next step forward. This is perfect. 3v3. Nice from Chichu. Takes away Jaw. And bit by bit, EDG unraveling G2. Leaving Just Leaf. Oh, but maybe it's not Just Leaf. Hold on. A 1v2 ain't easy though, smoked off as well. Beckoned forward by the spam, by the tap on the spike. He's got to go! Nice try! But better from Chichu, but the timing.
No, I don't think so. .07.
God damn.
G2 just steal around on time, why not? And what a fashion to do it in, because EDG, they're in a numbers down situation.
Yep.
Right? And then they win every single 1v1 they take.
Yep.
Nobody. Chichu, Smoggy on the flank.
Feeling like an EDG round, right?
And if Leaf can't get that kill just slightly faster on the reactions, then Chichu. That round belongs to EDG.
They don't look too fussed about it, but I'm feeling the pressure now. 10-6, double digits made early. G2 looking to try and approach this, but EDG, okay.
They've
Right
got
out of the corner.
no guns, but the power of friendship, I suppose.
No, Hong Kong's got a bulldog. Why do I feel like this might be the one that works for him? You know, it's one of those weird rounds. Okay, I've been talking absolute nonsense. Jaw's already got Kung Kung. Leafs identified that there was some pressure on the other side. Does get outdone though, and that's a recovered rifle.
Yep, into the hands of Chichu, no less. So what does Jogmo have to do? Has to pop the ultimate, clear out this A site. Right now, it's just Simon playing up inside of this smoke. He's got a bulldog in hand.
Doesn't get spotted either. They don't know about Simon here. Now they do. Quick little get out of jail free card there for Jaw, but still, plant is in.
Heavy offsite post plant for G2. Not over-forcing like they did the last time around, but really it's Chichu with the rifle in hand to try and break this round open. He gets the first.
Oh, it's stunning from Chichu. More? No. Jonah P on the trade. Paranoia comes in, and now the numbers starting to fall. This is looking rough. You can see the util being poured on here. Trent even going to claim one, going to put the ult on top. They're taking no chances. Smoggy had his ult, but doesn't feel like he's going to get the chance to use it here. G2 on the verge of 11, but Smoggy giving a damn good go. Jonah P having none of it. G2 make it out, even though it got a little bit dangerous. It's 11 nonetheless.
Yeah. You know, they had to throw a couple ultimates into the mix. G2 aren't going to be thrilled about that, especially because EDG have a great ult cycle of their own coming on through. And ultimately, here, I feel like if Chichu had been able to find a second coming, there's a world where he gets 3 kills and can steal that round away. You know, he's had a lot of these spots where he's always good for his 1 kill, but in other days, he is having montage performance. He's getting those 3. That's the EDG that blew G2 out of the water. If he can, out of this timeout, tap back into that, it's going to be a lot more threatening as we close out this first map.
EDG pumping the brakes, and I think rightly so here. It's not been a good first map for them, really. The string of rounds alone, I mean, we're looking at it, you guys can't see, but it is looking real G2-sided as it stands. So for now, I guess we could kind of put this in context. This is G2's map choice. Right? They've had time now to plan how they want to approach this. They come in with a lot more information in their own minds, and they come off a very good win as well. These are things that should be in the forefront of their minds. Now, of course, they did get absolutely put to bed by EDG in the first time they met. That first map, banger, brilliant, amazing. The rest, probably soon, hopefully forget it, right?
Yeah.
But here, it feels like G2 have a plan in mind that's working. EDG, I've rarely seen them look like a team without an answer, which is kind of what it's feeling like.
Usually EDG can find those answers in just the stellar performances of their individual players, especially in a comp like this, right? You don't lock in the clove and then not put up big numbers. Smoggy's doing well for himself, but so far we haven't had that lights-out superstar performance. We haven't had that one guy to step up and say, today's the day EDG are winning. It's something they've had every other match they've played this year.
Looks like a very simplistic start, but there is a default being held on both extremities here.
Stun off of the breach, could open up that door and fight into B main, but G2 have a chance to pinch themselves going through a one-way.
But it's going to find so little, I think. It's Jonah P to deny Smoggy, going to force the res, but it's G2 being played in here. Deals with Jaw, doesn't fall foul to it, but a diving Jonah P puts him to bed. It's down to a 4v4. Jonah P is an absolute monster. Trent going to find Simon. Why does G2 make this look easy? This is EDG. These are the reigning champions, and right now, G2 are walking all over them. I can't believe it. And you can get one, but one is not enough. G2 are there in numbers. Kung, if there was a player to do it, to deny the 12, you'd argue it could be him. Right now, G2 looking like they're on another level. The utility there to stall. The time being bought. And the first man has a go. Belief's just toying with him, playing with his food. Kung can't get past the go signal. This is wild. It's not that it's just a win, and at least in my mind at 12-6, it's the fashion in which G2 are making EDG look out of sorts.
Almost that systematic destruction in every single opening tool taken. EDG love to play the brawly style.
They excel at it.
They do, but Jonah P has awareness to every new player that's swinging him off an angle. You know, his teammate gets taken down, so he trades them out. Door opens, instantly ready on the swing, on that 50-50.
Cutting through.
It's only map one though, right? Things will change, you'll get closer. 12-6, we go back in, and it feels familiar, right? This feels like we've been here before, but G2 stake their claim over towards Rubble.
EDG keeping two players tucked in close behind that wall. Waiting for the reclear, and with nobody finding that pick into mid, that might encourage G2 to keep fighting forward into A.
They have no idea about how many players are around this corner, though. They could walk into this. Yeah, Kung this time is fired up, and then completely just seems
looking at?
drift. Oh my God.
What are they looking at?
I don't understand what I'm seeing. This is EDG. This is not a second-tier team. This is one of the best in the world, arguably the best in the world. And right now, they look asleep at the wheel. G2 just driving forward. We're going to need heroics to save this round. Maybe it's nobody's time to shine. G2 there, Smoggy there. Valorant and Jonah P to claim, but Jonah P has been a monster. Nasty in his work. Valorant in the smoke.
Last player standing.
Chichu catches. Nice from Chichu. That was better. But that felt bizarre halfway through that round.
Left scratching your head for a moment there. Even though EDG had done all the great opening work, nobody finding the pick into mid. That first kill towards Rubble too. Got a little bit diabolical.
One enemy remaining.
We need someone like Chichu to heat up a bit here, right? Chichu, give me a little something, because we've been singing this guy's praises, you know? On for the MVP, the big man kind of taking all the limelight. These are the games we need you to show up in as well. He's not doing badly, he's 14-15, but you know, he's a superstar. So we go again at 12-7. G2 held off from that wanted 13. Smoggy, big chance, big shot! Oh, it's gorgeous! A third potentially as well. He waits.
This fight into front B is going to be everything. As smokes come in, Trent tries to fight his way out, carve himself away on through.
Yeah, but Smoggy, he's still on this one. He's still there. They're still trying to battle it out towards B, but Smoggy's controlling so much. You are a lucky boy, Smoggy. The gods smiled on you this round. But Valen left in a 1v3. Got Spike, got ult.
Plenty of time too. A paranoia, a couple of smokes. He's got to hunt out the first kill though, and getting spotted is brutal.
He's got 1v1s on basically every single site he wants to go to. Now, do you fancy a chance against Smoggy, who's kind of 1v4'd your team?
Kind of killed everyone this round, so I wouldn't like that personally.
Do you even invest your paranoia to clear this close corner? Do you back him still on it? Because Smoggy certainly does the setup here. Knife's edge, and it's Smoggy. What a stunner from him. 4 kills and a step back.
In this replay, I want you to watch Smoggy. Of course, excellent gunplay, but Chichu is the one that bails him out. Smoggy gets stunned back here, but a paranoia catches both of these players. There's the clone and the Yoru. That's what gives him the chance in the round. Then he has the one-way, those BDCs running on through it. All the gunplay after that, just clinical.
G2's first time out here. Something, they don't like it. Because there's something special about EDG, and I feel like we haven't had much of a chance to talk about it in this game because G2 were the better team so far. But at 12-8, I still get nervous when I look at EDG because there's still that chance that you get a round from Smoggy.
Oh yeah.
And that's without talking about Chichu, Kung, nobody. Sorry, I mean, you go down the list.
They're terrifying, you know?
And if they start activating him, then that's 9 rounds. 10,
Look, Pansy,
11.
EDG hadn't won 2 rounds in a row in like the last 15 rounds. Now they've got a little bit, they win 2 in a row, G2 call a timeout. The things I'm looking at right now are a little bit spooky. Yeah, okay, G2 have a
talk to me.
buffer of
What's
4
spooky?
rounds.
What's spooky here?
Well, I see 5 stingers for G2, that's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, Kong's decided to go for the operator. And honestly, when I've been watching a lot of the early fights that EDG have been doing well, they've been leaving Kong sort of on an island to take those isolated fights, fighting a lot more around Smoggy and Chichu. So I think putting the op in his hands could just work. Sneak away a few rounds towards the end of regulation.
But I've heard a thing about Americas with stingers. I've heard these fables about it, right? They work better out there.
They're a little bit wild.
It's crazy that Riot tuned them that way, but we'll see. Okay, EDG, if you want to make a game out of this, it starts now. Make this look clean. Make this look like you have the perfect purchase up against a bunch of stingers. Show me what you can do here, because already G2 have a plan. And Jaw, I don't think you come out of this alive, you don't, Chichu. Puts him into the blender, and G2 held at the door here. EDG don't need to stick around too far.
Trying to work back in, but yeah, EDG can just fall back into a nice crossfire. It was a great counter stun from Simon into the blast that took out G2's duelist, and now the stall is just about endless.
Not going to get the opening move they wanted out of that. It was a nice little idea. I like the approach, the mentality. Doesn't really stick the landing.
And the worst part is G2 needed that to work because that would open up the lurk for Leaf to move into the A site. But because they weren't able to make much headway, well, Kong's op is still back towards stairs. So Leaf moving forward would be absolutely mental.
Here we go. Could be an X factor here, or it could be nothing. All up, G2 move in. Now focus through towards tree. Kong doesn't really get much play here, at least not yet. Maybe a little nervous when Trent's around. He's been sharp, but Kong,
this is a bit early.
He's feeling brave on this one. He's feeling quite bold, actually. Kept secured by the smoke, but only for a second. Look at who's closing in on the other side as well. So just a centimeter apart. Hello, Kong quick with it. Support from Simon, and G2 left in towards the ult. It's down to a 3v2. They're going to force out the ult as well. Simon taking no chances here. They want to bulldoze forward. Oh, I told you about these stingers. And maybe it's true. Smoggy has to pull this off himself. And the time is ticking. G2! The stinger in hand, more than enough to close out map 1.
I can't believe it's going down like that. G2 on 5 stingers in a 4v5, no less. Pull away the round, take map 1 in this series to determine who is headed to the grand finals.
At your party,
I'm with the gang.
it's gonna be a robbery, so take your gun buddies.
Aw. I'm a gun buddy girl, I'm sorry.
Face your death, cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here, ain't stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again.
Hi guys, Jenny here with Coach Josh RT. Now Josh, congratulations on the Lotus. Next up is Split. You guys have only played this map once this year, so why leave it open? And did you guys see something that you can maybe exploit from EDG Split yesterday?
Well, the good thing is that there's a lot of footage on EDG. But with a strong team like EDG, you kind of have to pick your poison. So we decided, like, let's try this route.
Is G2 winning the pistols on Split?
Did we win a pistol last game? Maybe the trend continues. I don't know. Hopefully we break the trend here.
All right, good luck and thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good news, Josh. You broke the trend. You're good. You're good. All right, welcome back, everyone. Now, G2's undefeated streak continues on Lotus. They are 5-0 in 2025, an absolute heater of a map for this team. And Sideshow, it really is just some excellent ideas that we're seeing from G2 some of these rounds.
Yeah, the G2 composition just was winning so many of these rubble fights over here. There were 6 occasions where EDG opted into it, trying to take control of this area of the map at the beginning, and G2 smoked them either by getting a player advantage or winning the round outright. 5 out of 6 of those times. And I think that's a compositional difference. It's not necessarily EDG playing badly. I think they had good individual performances, in fact, today. But G2's ideas were superior, and they knew what was coming because EDG have been playing this comp since July.
There were a lot of those rounds there you were seeing, like, there was a lot that was being asked of Kong Kong in those initial fights, where he was pretty much just isolated because of the sheer amount of utility that was just being dumped on them in the beginning of those rounds of Rubble.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many different combos, so many different uses of the stuns, the paranoias, the salvos. So difficult for them to actually find something. On the other hand, Valorant with the TPs, we saw so much variety in such little time. And G2 understanding and preparing also how EDG played this map on the attack. It's very beautiful to see.
Yeah, sometimes they're committing the utility right at the beginning. Here, EDG go for like a late re-clear over towards Rubble. G2 are still ready for it. They've still got people posted up. Valens there ready and waiting. And also that set them up for some nice retake scenarios where they were able, you see here, EDG only winning 5 out of 9 of the post plants because G2 often had like one player advantage from the Rubble fight where they were able to get that slow, disciplined retake working.
Yeah, they were just so good at cycling the utility, making sure that they had what they needed each and every time. And in fact, that actually brings us to our HyperX Reflex moment of the match. And this is going to be G2's round 13 because, Josh, once again, we were seeing some really cool ideas with the utility and how they implemented it.
Yeah, I mean, here's a little flash salvo combo to catch Smoggy. He took a lot of damage from this one. He just walks back into it.
He was also flashed. He was like, there's a lot, it's land sound, so there's a lot going on. But I think that we were talking about it in the pre-show as well. This receiving utility, this utility that just keeps coming back, this combo with the stun and the salvos in a round like pistols, you cannot survive. We will have to keep tracking how many kills Trent has been getting. We need a leaderboard, you know, of the salvo kills, because it is so beautiful to see and so absolutely consistent. Hopefully it will get nerfed soon.
Hey, that's real. That's real. I respect it. And look, without a doubt, Tejo is so powerful. We've been seeing it implemented in pretty much every single map. That actually brings us to map 2 because we're going to be taking a trip over towards Split. And you got G2 on the defense first here, Kakuka. Now, there are a lot of opportunities here for some good combinations on the compositions because
yes, exactly.
G2 only played this once.
Exactly. They've only played it once. We heard it in an interview. And as we were also mentioning, it wasn't pretty. But here, I'm looking more at the side of EDG. Maybe G2 changes or not. Very important what the coach was saying about there's a lot of tape because of the composition that they play. I love that they still have the jet. But thinking of EDG starting on the attack, the other day they had a 10-2 start. 10 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful way to start a second map if they can.
Sideshow, before the game started, or before map 2, we were talking about it, and you said that there's a possibility that while this one went very well for G2, that it could easily seesaw in the other direction. You want to elaborate a little on that?
Yeah, so it definitely could, but that is because the only time that we've seen G2 this year play on Split, they got smoked actually, 13-4. And so if they haven't changed anything, if they come out with a similar kind of performance, EDG might steamroll like you saw them do against T1. But I have more confidence in G2 to turn things around. We've seen this team pick up new compositions like they've done on Bind, and they've managed to retool. They look really good with the Breach Tejo combo. I think better than EDG do, and this is a map where they're going to be playing both of them. But Kankan can be an X factor on the jet.
All right, well, of course, the world champs have their backs against the ropes. Let's actually go ahead and hear what Coach Muggle had to say as we get ready for map number 2.
Hello again, Jen Lee here with Coach Muggle and also Luna for translation. Now, Muggle, thank you for joining me. I just want to ask you about Lotus because it's a map that you guys have been kind of struggling with, even back in the CN League, and we see nobody switching back and forth between the Sova and the Fade. Do you feel like this was the solution to make your Lotus stronger, or was it just the lesser of two evils?
那其实我们可以看到莲花古城这张图，可能在森赛区的时候，我们就有一些挣扎。我们会看到 Nobody 可能在 Sova 或者 Fade 两个英雄之间去做摇摆。那你觉得现在是我们已经想出了这个解决的方式，还是说还在继续的调整和商榷当中？
这个图主要是打得太少了，就是基本上没有跟就是前面几场比赛基本上是不会拿出来的，所以说优先级没那么高。调整是有的，就是但觉得今天打 G2 那个阵容的话，就之前觉得这个阵容可能能打嘛，然后现在看来还是太湖的等级会更高一点。
Seems like we didn't play that much, like in the few days ago during the matchup, and seems like we thought we could beat G2 with these comps right now, but seems like Taiho is much stronger than we thought.
But next up is Split, so 加油!
Thank you, Jen, for that. And talking about the Taeho there, because that was something that when we were like in the green room in Americas watching like the China footage and stuff like that, we're talking about it. We're like, we don't really see a lot of the Taeho out there. And they learned today why that agent is so strong.
Well, they were trying to play a little bit of it, but it was always Simon playing the Taeho in China. And even then, the pick rates weren't high, like you're talking about. And at this tournament, they've swapped it up, so nobody is almost always playing the Taeho, because now they're playing much more Breach Taeho. And I think there is a bit of a gap here that Trent can exploit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I agree. We see the synergy, and I think it's getting stronger. And most importantly, we were speaking about them learning from their losses and the way that they can win today, and especially on that Lotus, knowing that they have a composition that is going to fight and fight and fight. They still relied on their strengths. And as we jump into Agent Salent, the only thing that is going to change for G2 is Valin going from the Astra onto the Omen, which makes a lot of sense for Split, especially with how good Leaf has been defending, and anybody can be with those one ways.
My eyes immediately go over to Kong Kong. He is going to be on the attack side with the Jet, and he went 2 and 8 in terms of first kills to first deaths on map 1. Now that's because he was Neon, that's because they had a bad game plan around the Rubble fights, but he needs to be able to find entry success for EDG to win. And I think G2 are going to be throwing everything at him to try to shut him down. We saw what G2 was able to do to somebody like Durka, made him look mortal despite the fact that he is an MVP candidate. Can they do the same to Kong Kong? Can they make today a bad one for the MVP of champs?
That is going to be a tough one for sure to deal with if you're Kong Kong here. Can this one go the distance? Will G2 sock him with a right hook, or will Kong Kong and the boys manage to hold on? Let's send it back over to Pansy and Ender for the call.
Yeah, this is getting wild now, right? It feels like there's something in the air here. There's a real opportunity for G2 to somehow 2-0 EDG, right? The map 1 approach that G2 had felt like a slam dunk. They had it read, they had it executed, it was perfect. This is a different situation. We are now into EDG's map choice.
Exactly.
We expect more comfort here. We need to see them looking better overall.
Yeah, EDG definitely the favorites coming into this map specifically. Also, G2 haven't really made serious changes coming on through. They got beat 13-4 versus Sentinels the last time we saw them play this map this year. They're gonna need to make some pretty big changes because EDG have looked good here on Split.
Let's see what G2 can do. Right, this is a big thing for me. If we're going to be starting to see this map veto adjusting like this, I want to see if they can really stand up to it. It'll be EDG, of course, on the attack, then meaning G2 on the defense.
Cute little bait and switch set up back B site here. Jogamo having all the support from Valin to bait out those shots while they... Oh, what's that nade?
Oh, what's that shot? Jaw so quick with it towards Kong Kong, but he goes a little too early on that. Simon going to punish him, forcing Leaf closer to site. Hold on. Do they still check? Do they still do their due diligence here? Leaf could get played in. He could have a monstrous impact. No, it's Simon to shut it down so quickly. That's a 4v2. Trent, I mean, he was damn good before, but Chi-Chu looking absolutely on it now.
That was nice. Chi-Chu speeding up through mid, I think behind a Taeho drone. And then EDG, yeah, okay, Kong Kong gets shut down by that Jogamo position in back sight, but after that, he didn't even blink, didn't even flinch on this entrance.
There's nowhere to get to.
Yeah, the stun combo that ended up catching Valin. That's what gave him no chance to escape from the missiles.
Taeho quite strong apparently.
Yeah, turns out.
Who'd have thought it? Oh.
Nice!
Looking like a little bit of a fire lit under them now. We were talking about their pistol conversion, though. EDG have been winning the vast majority, barring one, I believe, in that previous map.
That's
so
8 of 9 pistols now.
Yeah,
across
very,
the games
very
they've
clean.
played G2 in.
Beyond that, though, for G2, we're looking at them maybe trying to get those ult orbs up, or maybe just trying to get a little trap going here for EDG. The buy's relatively decent, as long as Kong doesn't lose that Vandal.
Looks like EDG think mid might be a little bit weak these last 2 rounds, trying to challenge it. This time G2 ready with the flash on the refight, but those missiles give you not a lot of room to fight in.
Go for a little crunch here. That, what? How did Trent get 2? How has he gotten 2 from it? That is outrageous from G2. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a bit, a little bit of a brawl, but apparently G2 just needs some classics. I was worried about the Vandal being dropped, let alone every other weapon. G2's having to come back in on cleaning duty. Boys, what's happened in middle? You made an absolute mess. And Leaf.
Just smokes on smoke.
Yeah, good luck. Have fun. He's clean. He's going to need a bit more than that, though. Leaf, suddenly, getting a little shaken here. But Jonah P's still alive. 4 bullets. They're waiting for this drop here. Oh! G2, you are outrageous! Saving EDG from what could have been a nightmare of a round.
G2 decided to wake up. 5-0 with the Red Bull clutch.
But G2 are not meant to be able to do this.
No.
Come on, look at Trent. You are so damn good.
And look, Trent and Jonah P on light buys have just been fiendish. Whether it's a Sting or a Guardian, a pistol, it doesn't matter.
Chi-Chu's been the closer here. We were talking about him not having big impact in map 1, right? He was a bit quiet compared to his traditional standard. He's already off to a heater of a start. However, we do have G2 in a nice position now with this purchase. This should be comfortable.
Outlaw in Dogmo's hands now. I think only the heavy armor on a couple of players, Chi-Chu and Kong Kong. But, you know, you see Chi-Chu step up like this, that's great news for EDG. But Kong Kong sitting at 0-2, that's now, after a 2-8 performance in opening fights, he's been taken down very early in these 2 rounds.
Time to jump.
EDG without him at the top of his game. It's been hard to see them compete with the best in the world.
I like what Trent's doing here, very passive in approach, not giving away too much space, and Leaf kind of working off the negative space that was kind of assumed to be in the territory, and Trent still delivering. This man looks so sharp on the tail, I can't stress it enough. And now EDG starting to struggle a little bit here. This bonus was lacking in the investment as well, obviously light after round 2. Trent, just a safe pair of hands, can't stress it enough. He is so solid, an absolute rock of this team. Now, can Simon or Chi-Chu get under their skin? Can they cost them any of these weapons?
It's going to have to be Simon with the Vandal in hand. Only 55 HP, though, getting swung out on the side. Now he knows where the first is, but as Trent falls into sight, those angles are being taken away from him. 3 on the round is just excellence from Trent.
Really nice. Now, again, it was a bonus for EDG, a lighter purchase, but still, seeing that composure, Trent just looking super solid. I like to see it. Jonah P, similar things, at least in map 1 here. Trent kind of picking that space up.
It's really good awareness and sort of play from Trent and the support of the missiles coming in.
God, they're everywhere.
From Leaf and Trent. Because, you know, Leaf's getting pinched, players walking at him from mid, they're going up ramp into his shoulder there. And it seems like EDG really want to punish these mid players, right? The first 2 rounds, they fought into mid pretty aggressively. Now, going for the pinch look, G2 are going to be on their toes consistently through this half.
This is the big round, right? This is the one you want to really keep focused on. And have a look at G2. Walkabouts towards A, taking a lot of that space. A good response to someone whose high priority is middle.
Quick teleport from Jogmo goes back into B site. And that ult is going to try and push these EDG players away. G2 still hold on to A, have in control.
It certainly stalls them out, but there'll be a question mark by Vent. They're going to know that that's been available for some time. They put their eggs in the basket of pushing through A main to get that information. They get these lovely positions off the back. But mid is worrying, right? G2 now feeling like they're playing in the dark almost, blind to what EDG are up to.
That's why I think G2 want to re-clear up towards B heaven, look into mid, using that drone in towards A as well. So they realize EDG are putting their eggs towards this B site.
Yeah, George just came back over. You felt almost hesitation for a moment to slip back towards A, but no, look, especially with the space the Trent's taken, this feels very readable here, but it's still hard to hold this site. Very little of this area is playable, but Leaf's got a corner, and nobody can put Leaf in a corner. Already looking like EDG are suffering on the way in. Nice fight back through.
Hold on, Smoggy.
Oh, Smoggy straight through middle. A surprise they didn't expect, but the positioning coming out from Trent is probably not something they're going to expect. We've got to look at Jonah P as well. Gap closing towards middle. Has a look towards Rafters. Now Trent can start taking steps as well. EDG dedicated towards site, finding their own piece of security to play from. But oh my god, the timing! Trent just about to come back around here. They're putting it together. They've definitely put this together. Kung trying to find a corner as well. Jonah P with the stun. Everything's starting to get harder and harder to hold here. Kung trying to do the dance. But it's Smoggy and Kung in unison. Kept their cool and got the round.
Just chaotic rounds here that EDG sneak away with. I loved what they did. Smoggy was just hanging out in mid for the entire round, just about. Once they dealt with the player in back of sight, Jogamo gets caught completely off guard.
I've got to say, Smoggy feels like the bailout player there because G2 had everything red, right? You had Trent literally in their spawn. They had all the info.